Hi, welcome to Downtown Tonight. My name's Ian Hartley. We have lots of special guests tonight. Terry Serio, Anna Johnson, Jimmy Vargas and Mecanismo. I always have a problem with that name, but anyway, they're a great band and they're on later. But our first guest is Grant Gouleau.
Hi Ian, how are you, buddy?
I'm all right. This is very ad-lib and we don't know what we're going to talk about, but we will talk about things that you've done. We'll talk about your...
We can talk about things I haven't done if you want.
Well, you want to talk about things you haven't done? That is, yeah, there are a lot of things that I haven't done. Yeah, a lot of things I haven't done. But I know you do lots of cruise ships and stuff with your Dean Martin persona.
Well,
but they're not like the Love Boat, are they?
No. And the Dean Martin thing is something I started in the business doing that, but I basically got rid of that, and I'm workers myself now. You know, the Dean Martin thing got me in. That was my first break, playing Dean Martin in a Dean and Jerry tribute show.
Yeah.
You know,
Who was Jerry?
A guy called Ricky Lemos. He was very talented, but he wasn't. You know,
was he Jerry thin Jerry? Was he?
He looked exactly like Jerry. Yeah. He did Jerry beautifully. He's very talented. He could do lots of impressions and sing all sorts of songs.
Like a pipe cleaner with hair, or.
Yeah. Well, basically, we couldn't stay together. That was.
But that's what happened in real life.
Well, yeah, we ended up hating each other, and he went back to washing dishes, and I went on with my career.
You've got a CD coming out as Grant Gouleau?
Yes, yes. The last CD I recorded was about 4 years ago. That was called The Stranger, where I did the title track was a cover of the Billy Joel song The Stranger, and I did songs like Mac the Knife and you know, Blue Moon and the Godfather theme. But this time around, I'm doing a themed album. It's called An Affair to Remember, and it's all romantic songs. But of course,
like
the title
based on
track.
The movie?
Yeah, well, the song from the movie, which it's going to be a new arrangement of that song. I love that song.
It's a good song. Yeah.
There's going to be other great songs on there, like I'm a Fool to Want You and The Good Life and The Shadow of Your Smile, and some great songs on there. And I might even do a few, you know, a couple of originals. I've had some songwriters. One of them is on your show. Jimmy Vargas. He's pitched a song to me, which I might record on there.
What kind of song is that?
Well, it's a croon sort of torch song.
Is it a good song?
Well,
I think it's being nice to him.
Well, he's an old friend of mine. You know, people say bad things, but I always defend him. You know.
They're performing later. His band.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to hang around and watch that. It'll be well worth seeing.
So, what are you going to sing for us tonight?
I'm going to sing the very, very beautiful Vanuatu folk song about a serial killer.
Right.
Called Mac the Knife.
Oh, that's the Bertolt Brecht.
That's the one.
Song,
yeah.
A lot of people have done that song.
Well, a lot of people have done it, but I've got my way of doing it.
So you do like a Sydney version,
Well, yeah. I mean, depending on where I'm working in the world. Like I just got off the Queen Mary 2 2 weeks ago, and I did a sort of a New Yorkie version of that. But then again, if I'm doing a cruise closer to home, then I do my Sydney version. So it's a song that lends its... I like to change the lyrics around in lots of songs, actually.
So if you were in Baghdad, you could do like a Baghdad
Well,
version?
yeah, there would be, you know, and it'd be quite easy to do that because, you know, like there's a lot of mayhem over there, so the song would lend itself to that, you know.
But you could actually do like an album, basically, of
songs
Mac the Knife,
yeah,
but done in different cities, like, you know, the Afghanistan.
I left my heart in Kandahar,
about
Afghanistan,
The Vietnamese one, you could do Vietnamese.
Yeah, well, I think Barnsley's always covered that with Khe Sanh, hasn't he?
Right, yeah.
Well, yeah, but a Vietnamese one would be...
Well, I mean, I was speaking to Frank Bennett once, who you've worked with.
Yes, good friend of mine and
who does Frank
partner in crime, yeah.
And he always, for some reason, always used to get requested that he sing that Jimmy Barnes song, Khe Sanh.
Did he really?
Yeah, and he had to do that in the style of Frank Sinatra.
Well, I recorded it on my album Straight Up, which came out 2 years before his first album. Right.
So he plagiarised your plagiarisation?
He possibly could have, you know. I wouldn't put it past Frank to do that,
no, I wouldn't.
you know. I'm going to have to plagiarise something off him when I get a chance, but I can't now. It's already been done. Paul Anka's already done it instead.
Has he?
Well, yeah, he did an album of rock songs in the croon style, you know.
Yeah, I've always thought that song, the Beck song, I'm a Loser, Baby, would have been a good one to do in a Frank Sinatra style.
Yeah, probably would.
Hey, I'm a loser, baby. You know.
But his big one was I'm a Creep, wasn't it? That was his thing.
Anyways,
but I did Khe Sanh before, so.
It's great talking to you, and I know you want to sing your song, because I know you've got to go and come back and watch Jimmy Vargas.
And I've got to do my bow tie up too.
Oh yeah.
You know, this is another thing. People, this is the real thing. I've actually got to do this up, so I better get to it.
All right.
And Good to
Great
see you
talking
again,
to
Ian. Oh, the shark has such teeth, dear, and he shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old MacKeith, babe, and he keeps it out of sight. You know when that shark bites with his teeth, babe, scarlet billows start to spread. Fancy gloves, oh, where's old MacKeith, babe? So there's never, not a trace of red. Let the thing get serious on the sidewalk down Coogee Bay Road on Sunday morning. Liza Bardé, just oozing life, and someone sneaking way out on the street corner. Could that someone be Mr. Mac the Knife? There's a cement barge down by Sydney Harbor going slow. Well, cement bags just drooping on down. That cement is there strictly for the weight, dear. 5 is gonna get you a 10. Mackie's back in Sydney town. Ah, did you hear about Iron Bar Miller? He disappeared, babe, after drawing out all the cash from his ATM. And now Mackie spends just like a double bay cougar. Could it be our boys done something rash? Oh, Jenny Diver, yeah, yeah, and Suki Tawdry. Hello, Miss Alanya, Bonacera, Lucy Brown. Yes, that line forms on the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town. Ah, Satchmo, Louis Armstrong and Bobby Darin, Frank Sinatra, and now yours truly. Yes, that line forms on the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town. Look out, old Mackie is back.
Welcome back. Our next very special guest is Terry Serio. How are you, Terry?
Very well, Ian.
Terry is an actor. He's done many roles. He's played John Howard, an Australian Prime Minister, and he's played Johnny O'Keefe, an Australian rock legend. Both of them are Johnnies, but both very different.
Very different.
Could
Very
you
different.
explain the difference?
Well, one is a rock and roll star and has had his own television show, much like yourself, Ian.
Oh yeah, a bad one. But yeah.
A very good one. Sing,
Yeah,
Sing,
thank you.
Sing. He
I'll
had,
sing, sing.
on here in these very studios.
Yeah,
on
this
these
studio
grounds,
here.
which
This
the
was where he
ABC
did Sing, Sing,
used
Sing.
to
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
Okay, the other one is the Prime
And 6
Minister.
o'clock rock.
6 o'clock rock as well. Yeah. John Howard, the Prime Minister, the longest-serving Prime Minister. A vastly different kettle of fish. I played him for 416 performances in Keating the Musical. Look, that role gave me so much pleasure. I won awards for it. It was an incredible thing to do. The show was quite magical.
So John Howard gave you pleasure.
He gave me pleasure. It's a strange irony. That,
Yeah.
Ian.
You may be the only person on the planet that has gained pleasure from John Howard, including his wife, although he has got children.
It's
So
a
I
very
don't know.
keen observation you've made there, Ian, and I should throw that over to the public
Oh,
and
thank you.
get their views.
Do you think they have a view on that?
Ah,
There are a lot of people that didn't like him, I think.
there were a lot of people that liked him as well,
Yeah,
but
there were.
I'm glad to see that that the way things are at the moment, that people seem to be kind of, I mean, I think the way the world is at the moment, that people are starting to realise that we all play a part in the way the planet is going to go, in which way the planet is going to go. Some of our previous politicians didn't necessarily see that. You know. I'd hate to live where they live if they live like they want us to treat the planet.
Yeah, that's speaking of the planet. If you were offered a role on Broadway, what would be the role that would get you excited? What would be the role that would drag you to Broadway?
Look, I mean, I'm very role-driven in any of the mediums, whether it's film, television, or stage. It would be a role that had breadth to it and depth. I mean, obviously, you know, when I was younger, I played Stanley Kowalski in a stage production, and that is a wonderful theatre role. But there are many, and I think not necessarily playing one of the classical roles would be the thing that interests me, because I think as an actor you try and be the person that plays a role for the first time, you know, like Brando did with Kowalski. You know.
Is there a particular director that would excite you, that you'd like to work with?
The directors that excite me have, you know, in film, for instance, they have a great visual sense, but also know how to communicate with actors.
Like Cassavetes, or?
Oh yeah, I love Cassavetes. In fact, I'm doing a film at the moment. I'm about to start filming a film called Lorem Ipsum, and the director is from Venice Beach in California, and she is a big fan of Cassavetes. I've just watched The Killing of a Chinese Bookie.
That's brilliant.
The other night, and I'm a big fan of Cassavetes, and of course Husbands is another of his great films.
Husbands is brilliant.
And I think certainly that style of film where the performance is kind of thrown into the hands of the actor it to me is amazing. I love that.
But Cassavetes had like a repertory company. He'd always use Peter Falk and people like that. He'd
Ben Gazzara,
Ben Gazzara especially, and he was in most of his own films as well.
Yeah, look, I think that repertory notion of filmmaking is wonderful. When you get a lot done, there's a shorthand language that starts to happen, and you know, considering the Australian budgets, that kind of whole notion works very well, or would work very well.
Do you think there's anything that exists in Australia that is comparable to, say, Cassavetes or even Soderbergh or anybody like that, who would have a repertory style that would use the same people all the time?
Some of the newer directors might be going along those lines. I mean, the guy who directed Animal Kingdom, David Michôd, he's you know, he's made a few short films and seems to be using a similar group of people. So that might be starting to occur. Look, we haven't had a good film director for a long time. You know, we've got television directors at the moment. All of our great film directors are working overseas. Our television directors aren't much top.
The scripts aren't as good as they could be, are they? Really?
No, they're a lot of not enough time is taken with scripts, in my opinion, and too much time is taken with kind of marketing. You know, they get something that's fairly lame and then try and flog it, and I just think it's putting.
Yeah, I agree.
Everything's all the wrong way around.
As a segue into scripts, our next guest is Anna Johnson, who is a writer. She's written many books, on self-help books. Welcome, Anna Johnson, to the fold of the. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
How are you? You know Terry,
Yes, I do. Hello, Terry.
Anna.
Yeah. This is your new book.
It's my new book. It's called Savvy Chic: The Art of More for Less, and it's a memoir of being ridiculously broke but extremely glamorous and intrepid, loosely based on my life.
But this when you're in New York,
Not hand to mouth, more hand to chin, not quite reaching mouth.
Right.
When I first went to New York, I had a best-selling book and I toured the country, and I took my parents to Tuscany with a royalty check. But that was a little while ago, and publishing, the arts fell out of publishing, and I remained a writer. Stupidly, I should have become, I don't know, something else. But I stayed with writing, and I slowly watched that industry shrink and change and transform and be cannibalized by the internet, actually. And funnily enough, I thought, well, why not write a book about being broke, demythologize it, explore it, and help people through hard times. At least a dozen of my closest friends in New York City lost their jobs within a 1 year space of time, and we were all cooking together and doing amazing things, and through the stress came a lot of intrepid creativity. I say make craft, not war.
Is being broke in New York different to being broke in Sydney? Although it is in essence the same thing. You're broke, you have no money, but to be broke in New York, is it more of a fallen down broke? Like like there's no safety net in New
There's
York.
no safety net because if you go to hospital, you'll be waiting up to 7 hours in emergency with everybody. On the subway, you have, if you've got any conscience at all or any kind of observational skills, you see how poor everybody is. And when you feel like you're possibly a little bit closer to the street, it is harsh, but I think that it would be ridiculous to say that any expat is going to suffer in the way that a Mexican illegal worker is going to suffer. So I can't make that comparison comfortably.
Yeah. You have a blog?
Yeah, I do. It was from my last book.
Yeah.
My blog is, it started as a natural mothering blog and soon became a single mothering blog when I separated from my husband. And I've got a pretty funny readership, and I write about being a single mum in Sydney.
I went on your blog and you talk about cougars, but I know you don't want to talk about cougars.
I don't mind. I think they're kind of obsolete.
Yeah, they are obsolete. I think whenever
They're a brand, aren't they?
Yeah, whenever the brand becomes really common and mainstream, that the brand
I never
is
knew that wild
over.
animals had injections in their face to
No,
immobilise
yeah.
their jaws.
Well, I know I was speaking to the film director John Waters, and he was saying he went to a party in Hollywood, and he went into the room where the party was, where all the people were, and he had to say loudly what happened, because everybody was like frozen with their mouths open and their eyes bulging, and it looked like something really horrible had happened, and they were all turned to look at him, and he thought it was him. He thought he was what had happened, but really it was just basically Botox and cosmetic surgery. And it's kind of odd, because it's like if you become older and you don't have that, then theoretically you're really old. You're twice your age. Like there's the young old and the old and the normal. You know, like there's all these different variations of old now. You know,
Just the term reality
the
television
well-healed
is an
old,
anachronism
yeah.
because
Yeah,
nothing's real, especially if something's based on someone like Heidi Montag. If I wanted to see someone older in a sexy role, I'd look at Charlotte Rampling or Jane Birkin. I know they're women in their 50s and 60s, and to me it's psychologically and physically compelling.
But the media tends to do that. Like I know, so just the other day, somebody jumped off the top level of Westfield in the Bondi Junction. They jumped off the
In the atrium?
Yeah, wearing a morning suit and carrying a teddy bear, and were killed when they hit the ground. But the newspapers have reported it as they fell off an escalator. So it's like when you know something happened and then you read the report of what happened and it's wrong, then you realise that possibly everything in the paper is wrong.
Last time I went to Westfield, I did get a nosebleed.
Yeah, did
I was
you?
taking my son to the
It's
movies.
probably you're up too
the
high.
altitude was
the altitude,
extraordinary.
yeah. Well, apparently the altitude is such that now it induces suicide.
It's extraordinary that they would say that it's rather than being
I know,
something
yeah,
to do
yeah,
on
because
your
that's
own
got nothing
volition.
to do with anything.
You've got to be
yeah,
very
yeah.
careful because it's a dangerous
Dangerous
place.
escalator now.
But when
yeah,
did the
yeah.
media
That's
become
absurd.
desensationalised? I find that hard to believe.
No, the media have got a policy, I think, about suicide.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I
okay,
think they have.
because they
yeah.
don't want copycat.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
those villages in Glasgow where everyone...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, so cougars is possibly, in a strange way, the opposite of suicide, because they're preserving themselves.
It's embalmment.
It's environment.
it's
Yeah,
environment.
Whereas
It's
I
also-
think it'd be very hard to make love to a 22-year-old man with a frozen face.
Yeah.
yeah.
But people can flog a lot of stuff to him.
But I think it's also like the fashion that became where you know the liberated woman became in the Act of Congress was above the man rather than underneath the man, and if they hadn't had that operation, their skin would be sagging down towards the man, like they'd see the facial wrinkles and everything. But so that basically the tightness is so they can do that. Do you think
Right.
that's
Interesting
do you think that's an
theory.
obscure point, or do you think it's
It's extremely visually graphic, and
It is visually
anyone who's
graphic, but I
had a
thought I'd throw
baby
that
who wants
in,
to
yeah.
think about how their stomach would look when they're bending over. Well, you just have to be in love. That's all
Yeah,
there is
that's
to
right,
it.
yeah.
Love helps.
Yeah, love helps. Well, love is the answer to everything.
Love and craft. Let's get back to craft.
Yeah, you're getting back to
Knitting, you know, making your own jam, those sort of things save a lot of money, and you can stop watching television, except this program, which I think is essential viewing.
Yes, that's right. But do you think there is any essential viewing on television now?
Well, I hate to say this, but I don't actually watch television.
No, I don't either. I don't have time to watch it.
No,
Yeah.
I just
I love television.
No, I don't like it either. I read on your blog that you love television. And no, not on your blog, on your Facebook I read that.
Yeah.
I also read that you have 360 friends on Facebook.
How many?
360. It says on Facebook.
I'm
you
one
have
of them.
360
I've obviously
friends.
I'm one
I've
of them.
obviously lost a few since this morning because I think I do have actually 1,800.
Oh, right, sorry, 1,800 friends. I wanted you tell me that.
That's why it's not
Why
what
did
you
you
don't.
come
But don't you
out
think?
and tell me that
I
you
haven't got
had
time to
ADHD?
watch television. I'm doing too much Facebook.
Well, don't you think Facebook
yeah.
is the new television anyway? In a lot of ways. I mean, that people are looking at a screen. It's the same sort of thing. You can be pious about not watching television, but you're still in a screen activity.
Yes, they are.
You are, but look,
And it's banal.
The thing is, the thing about doing anything on your own volition is that you can on your computer you can click off the advertising if you
Right.
want to. On television, unfortunately, we have banners coming up from the bottom. We have our titles being squished, so we don't know who made our films.
What happened? Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
It's like
someone
squash
thought
it up into
was,
the top
a
corner.
good idea to,
Yeah.
and not only that, but whoever creates the films, if you're a director and you have a mise-en-scene concept,
yeah.
some advertising guru can force his banner into your frame of your, very expensive film and put on what's coming up.
Yeah,
and
but-
I
yeah.
think that is kind of unethical.
But to be
And that's
fair,
why I can't watch television. It's because of the pervasiveness of the
Yeah, no.
advertising.
No, I agree. I agree.
But I like SBS. I like to watch Polish homoerotic soccer thrillers and other movies with adult themes. I mean, really obscure plots from obscure countries with actors you're never going to see again.
You're going to have a dinner party at your place soon?
Well, yeah, sure.
I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
We will watch television together, or we could do
Well, we could
violate
just do
Facebook.
resumes
Yeah.
of television. You violate Facebook. Yeah, you could
think
actually
look,
have a Twitter party. Actually,
know-
everybody could go there with their laptops and talk to each
Twit
other.
Talk to each
Fest.
other.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
like face the wall with their laptop, talking to everybody else in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for young people.
It is for
Ian.
young. I'm sorry.
I think the thing is that I use my Facebook for simply letting people know what I'm doing. If
Yeah,
I've got
that's
gigs
right.
on, or if
Yeah.
I'm doing a play or whatever. You know,
Yeah.
if you've got a book,
Yeah. Yeah.
you are letting people know it's there.
Yeah.
But as a social tool, I find it. I don't do it. I
Yeah.
kind of. I've got my Free Palestine flag up this morning.
Yeah.
Because there's a bit of a move on to kind of go live together in the Middle East, you guys. Come on.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things you can do on Facebook, and it's a
Yeah.
very powerful tool. But
Yeah.
if you just use it to go, "Hi, I'm getting on the bus," I mean, well, that's nothing.
Yeah. I agree.
The potential for subversion is something that people have to constantly remind themselves of. It's one of the themes of my book, people power. I do believe in it.
It's extraordinary. People don't think they have power, but they, in fact,
Well, we're not citizens anymore, we're consumers, even in the governmental sense.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you do lose your job or you're stripped of the things that make you a very obedient consumer, you change the way you consume and the way that you create as well.
Yeah.
That's what I
But do you
found.
find it hard to be creative in a society the way it is now, as opposed to a society that was, say, 10 years ago, pre-Facebook, pre-Twitter,
no, I think you can still lead the way. Like I do a radio show on FBI. I do a thing called Stage Fright, and I have constantly realising the power of radio.
I love radio. I
yeah,
think radio's great. I'm amazed that there can be so many good things in the world,
Yeah.
but there's none of them hardly on any radio station in Sydney.
Well,
The
that's the thing,
commercial radio's atrocious.
So we on FBI we kind of try and let people know what is actually going
Yeah,
on, and so kind of truthfully, like I'm not. I mean, I think on commercial radios, I think a lot of the time people are saying not what's going on, but what's worth being frightened of. Be scared of this, and everyone's going, "Oh my God, we better listen to that." Kind of go, "Well, that's rubbish because it's about flogging stuff."
Distractionism. No, I think the handmade and the homespun and the realistic and the unmade up is coming back, and I think that's where the creativity dwells,
Yeah.
outside the plastic.
Well, I'm looking forward to that world,
The revolution.
the revolution.
Will not be
Well,
televised.
thank you very much, Anna and Terry, for being on the show.
she blooms, her cat sumac perfume, fragrance familiar, it's the rank of the two, exotica, 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 it's exotica. Serpentina, diamond scale, and it's you who gets strips by the fall of her veils. Exotica, exotica, exotica. Exotica, exotica, exotica. You got 7 cents, 7 Mayas, 7 stations, 7 messiahs, 7